Hey, look who's here. Hey, me, Matt. Nobody knows the trouble Oh, hey, Kyle.
It was
This is lockdown day what? 6? Not sure. I'm just chilling here in Kyle's apartment. I was watching the Aftermath live stream. It was Caroline, Jimmy, and Nug
yeah.
are all doing a live stream, and I missed it, otherwise I would have joined in, but whatever, It is what it is. So, I just gotta get your thoughts. I don't know if you saw the videos I posted last about WrestleMania and the whole thing about how you feel about that.
Okay, look, here's my perspective on it, if you will. Okay, yes, it's a change that they've gone from the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, to the Performance Center. It's a big change, it's a big difference, and I'm sure a lot of people are not happy. And I'm sure once this whole coronavirus thing dies down, WWE will do their damnedest to make sure that they have a WrestleMania in Tampa, Florida, whether it be the Raymond James Stadium or not. That all being said, at least they're still having WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And they're going to do their best to make it a good show. Whether or not they will have a crowd for it or not, hopefully they do, because I don't think you can have the same atmosphere of a WrestleMania without a crowd. Now, this all also has to do with public safety, but that doesn't, I guess it fits, but want to contain the coronavirus as much as possible,
Yeah.
which is great. Now, we'll see how it goes. I mean, Raw and SmackDown from the Performance Center were actually pretty good.
Yeah. I remind you of the old days, like the 60s, and not even before that. They have had wrestling matches in empty arenas.
Oh yeah.
So, and you look at matches like The Rock and Mick Foley, or Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler. You know, I was just mentioned earlier, if you look at the match with Edge and Randy Orton, it's gonna be a fucking awesome show, because it's last man standing. Can you imagine what they can do with that?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, even though it's gonna be most likely a smaller crowd, different setup, if you will.
Yeah.
You take all that into consideration, but the main focus, if you will, is the card itself.
Yeah.
You got Roman Reigns and Goldberg. You got Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. You got Edge and Randy. You've got Shayna Baszler, Becky Lynch, Undertaker, and AJ, so many others. So the card itself will be a good card, and even though it's from the Performance Center, it should still be a really good show, hopefully.
Yeah. And I think that the 2-day event, like, I'm not sure where else they're going to be holding this, but it should be interesting. I think that, like you said, or whatever, they're doing the best they can
Yeah.
with what they have right now.
Yes.
And I know that we're all struggling, but we gotta work through this together. Unfortunately, this is the way it is, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, if not for the fucking card, I'm looking forward to the Edge and Randy Orton match. I think that's got the most hype for it right now.
Yeah.
Now, what was said when that podcast-ish type thing with Aftermath was they have free range of the performance center. They have
Oh yeah.
the pyro can do anything, and you've got a lot of space that you can go around the building
Yeah.
without hurting anybody. And of course, because there's no audience heckling, you can hear better. Unfortunately, you could hear Oscar last week, but that is what it is. So, I mean, it should be a good show nonetheless.
Yeah.
But,
And I said this to Matt a little while ago. You have Raw and SmackDown from the Performance Center. Fairly good shows. Not bad. Again, you know, trying to fill the allotted time with limited resources. Then you look back to NXT, when they did NXT from the Performance Center as well. They had a crowd for that. Now, I know that they probably didn't want to have a crowd for all three shows, just to, you know, reduce the risk potentially of somehow maybe somebody in Orlando got a case of COVID-19 coronavirus and didn't want to spread it. Fine, whatever. But I mean, when you have so much to work with, you really need to do your best to fill the allotted time with something. Now, for SmackDown, there was a section where they showed the entire men's tag team elimination chamber match, which is fine, you know, in case nobody saw elimination chamber, give them an opportunity to see it.
yeah.
And I mean, hell, if you watched it during elimination chamber and you liked it, you got to see it again. For Raw, they showed the entire men's Royal Rumble match start to finish. Again, if you didn't see it, you got a chance to see it. If you saw it, you liked it, you got a chance to see it again. And yes, they had some really good matches, which, you know, you wouldn't expect anything less from WWE as far as that goes. And it's interesting how these guys and girls, the performers, the wrestlers, did their best to still give you that energy of being in front of a 15 to 20,000 people crowd with no one there. And I mean, I think they did a good job at it. One thing that I said in a post that was posted on Facebook, I don't think you posted it, but somebody did. They had posted about, you know, how good of a job that Raw and SmackDown did with no audience and a few other things, and I agree with that. One thing that I said, and I don't know, Matt, if you'll agree with me, I'm sure you've already watched Dynamite by now.
I'm afraid not. I didn't tape it.
Okay.
I posted about that.
I found, like, Dynamite was just starting
Hmm.
when you left
Yes.
my apartment.
That was
and
fun.
There's the whole speech by Cody, and very well done.
Yeah.
I found that Dynamite did just a little bit better job
Yes.
with their show than on SmackDown this past week.
Hmm.
Not saying it was horrible, but just the fact that basically WWE used previous things that were already done and shown to fill time. Dynamite had still a really good card, and they also did a few other things to fulfill those 2 hours. So, I mean, it's neither here nor there, but, it is what it is. Also, with Dynamite, we now know who the Exalted One is.
Yeah.
Any ideas who would
Oh,
be a good fit for that?
I heard it was Brody Lee.
Yes, it's Brody Lee. Of course, WWE fans out there might know him better. Of course, it's Luke Harper.
Yeah.
And it was Evil Uno and Stu Grayson in the ring, and they're talking about it. Like, I watch Dynamite on mute. It's just a thing that I do, especially if I'm like on Facebook on a video chat with one of my friends. I'll mute the TV. Just like I know what's going on just by watching. And if there's something that comes up that I'm interested in, like an interview or something, I'll listen. But it was basically like Stu Grayson and Evil Uno were in the ring, and they were, I guess, hyping up the Exalted One, I guess, or whatever. And then you had Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels get in the ring, and they're an exchange between those two teams. And then you see on the screens this weird kind of video come up, and then you see this figure, and then you hear the voice talking, but it's distorted. And then as the person is talking, it transitions from this distortion to like the actual voice. And it's like, I think I know that voice. And then he's wearing a white cloak, if you will, or vest, hood up, talking, takes the hood down. It's Luke Harper, Brody Lee, whatever. It's like, okay, he's with AEW now.
Yeah.
Great, fine. He's the Exalted One. As I'm listening to what he's saying, it's like, okay, this is really good. One thing he said, though, is he goes, Christopher Daniels, you're not the only old man that tried to hold me down, or something along those lines. And it's like, oh, that's clearly a pot shot at Vince, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we know Brody Lee is the Exalted One and with AEW. Then, right at the end of the show, they have a 6-man tag match with I think Cody, Matt Jackson, and Adam Page against Sammy Guevara and maybe Santana and Ortiz, or Santana. Oh, 3 members of the Inner Circle and 3 members of the Elite. And it's to determine who's going to have the man advantage, if you will, for blood and guts, right? So,
Yeah.
match goes on. Really, really good match. And I think the team for the Inner Circle got the win. It's like, fine, cool, whatever. And then they got Chris Jericho on the microphone, yak, talking about how they're going to destroy the Inner Circle, whatever. And Matt Jackson has a microphone in his hand, and he's talking about how his brother got taken out, and it's like 5-on-4, and brother got taken out and all this other stuff. And he goes, we have another member for our team, and it's somebody that owed me a favor. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see hovering above the ring this drone, if you will.
Yeah. Well.
Slowly come down, lands in the ring. You hear this music playing. Camera pans through the arena. Of course, there's empty seats. Gets to a section of, like, one of the upper levels. Zooms in. Who should it be? The broken one. Matt Hardy.
Yes. And I knew that, and I said that in my video, WWE didn't do shit for him when he came back. It was like, okay, I'm gonna job to Orton twice. Like, he came back a few weeks ago, and, that was it. So, you knew he was gonna go to AEW at some point. There were rumors about it.
Yeah.
I really think they're gonna do a better job. Cause see, when he came back in WrestleMania 33, it was like, alright, he's got that blonde streak in his hair. Why? I don't get it. And then, of course, he became Woken.
Yeah.
And that shit didn't work out too well.
Right.
The whole thing with Bray Wyatt was okay.
Yeah.
I think they made an okay tag team, whatever.
Yeah.
I just think that gimmick should have stayed on Impact.
Right, yeah. I saw a video that Matt posted on his Facebook page, I guess, and he was saying that, he's grateful to WWE for the opportunity to come back, wrestle again, came back with his brother, like you said, WrestleMania 33, whatever, but when it came time for his contract to expire, he just decided to let it expire. And he was like, I don't think this is going to be a forever thing that I'm going to be out of WWE. It's just for now, because he felt that him and WWE were on two separate pages.
Yeah.
As far as creative went. I guess, like, he had his own ideas, WWE had their own ideas, and they just couldn't come to a mutual agreement to what to do with him creatively. So, he's like, I'm going to let my contract expire, I'm going to, watch Impact, watch New Japan, Ring of Honor, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, whatever, and make a decision as to where I might end up. And then, of course, he, I guess, ultimately decided to join the AEW roster.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know for how long that's going to be, but... So yeah, 2 debuts on Dynamite. Brody Lee as the Exalted One, and then Matt Hardy.
Yeah, I think that Matt Hardy definitely wrestled everywhere except for Japan, I do believe.
Pretty much, yeah.
You look at the thing he did with Scum and Kevin Steen, or Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And then going back to WWE, then doing this and then doing that. It's interesting to see what's going to happen with him on AEW.
Yes.
I'm really digging the red streak.
Yes.
So, I mean, there you go. Now, it'll be interesting what happens in the coming weeks.
Yes.
Obviously, there's a lot of issues and a lot of places have been kind of closed down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sports, a lot of this, a lot of that. So
Yeah.
just it is what it is. So
Yes.
this is Kyle. I mean Matt, and we're gonna do Wheels of Fury again next week, and we're gonna do Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts Murphy.
Blood and Guts Murphy, yeah, really.
So talk to you later. Bye.
Stay safe.
Yes.
Stay strong. Find any way you can to work through this quarantine, isolation, whatever you want to call it. And we'll see you again.
Bye.